Welcome to the KZGN News. Today we'll bring you up to date on the Howard Code Enforcement case, the latest in terrorist activity in California, and new capabilities at China Lake and more.
From the Rademacher Hills to Bee Mountain and the mighty Sierras, Ridgecrest to Inyokern and China Lake, this is your news for the Indian Wells Valley with the KZGN News crew.
Thanks for joining us for the news. I'm Tom Whitnick, and here's what's new in the Indian Wells Valley. It was reported last week that William Dale Howard's properties out in Ridgecrest Heights were undergoing a cleanup. The receivers that took control of the properties have begun the work. Apparently Mr. Howard is also removing some of the stuff himself. The KZGN News crew went out over the weekend to take a look at the cleanup effort. This is bringing a close to a long-fought battle between the city and Dale Howard. The city, as a result of neighbors' complaints, started code enforcement action against him for many code violations and violations of the Public Health Code. After years of separate court battles, eventually the courts agreed with the city that what he had done was on his properties is in violation of the Ridgecrest Municipal Code. Mr. Howard was given many opportunities to clean the properties up, but refused to do so. He was finally told by the courts that if he didn't clean up on his own accord, then the city can ask the court to appoint a receiver to take over the properties and remedy all code violations. Mr. Howard still refused to comply with the city's demands, so the court appointed a receiver. The receiver is not an agent of the city, but an agent of the court. This person just goes into the property and corrects any problems the court affirmed. And that is what the person is doing now. Chief Strand offered the following statement. What is going on with Mr. Howard's property now is under the supervision of the receiver and the court, not the city of Ridgecrest. The only thing the city will do is when they are notified by the court-appointed receiver that the code violations have been removed, then the city will once again go in and verify all violations have indeed been corrected. Through this process, the city will pay for the cleanup and then present the bill to Mr. Howard. If he refuses to pay the bill, then the city will have the right to lien his properties for payment of the costs. Some have said that would probably have been a lot cheaper if Howard had done the cleanup himself. At some point during the cleanup effort last week, a forklift accidentally hit a power line. This hit actually broke a power pole off at ground level. This knocked out power to the area for over 8 hours. It also knocked out phone and internet service for some people as well. But his refusal will probably result in a very costly bill. Ridgecrest resident Mike Neal has been a defender of Mr. Howard through the process, begging the city to just leave Mr. Howard alone. But the answer to him has always been that the city is covered by the Ridgecrest Municipal Code, just like every other city in California. Everyone within the jurisdiction of the city has to abide by the code, and the city has a duty to enforce the code equally and fairly to all residents. At last Wednesday's council meeting, Mike Neal appealed to the council again to stop this invasion of Mr. Howard's property. He declared, on the day the city presents a bill to Mr. Howard to collect the cost of this abatement, that will be the day he starts a recall of all the sitting council members and the mayor. The council offered no comment back to Mr. Neal's warning. In terrorist news, the FBI has arrested 6 people for reportedly trying to get out of the United States to join ISIS in Syria. The FBI this morning announced that they arrested 4 people in Minnesota and 2 in San Diego. It is believed they are all linked together. They have been trying to get out for the last 10 months. The FBI says that there is a significant population of Muslims in the Minneapolis, Minnesota area. They are being actively recruited by ISIS. The 2 arrested in San Diego were testing the system to see if they could get into Mexico, then on to Syria. That is when the FBI decided it was time to stop the effort and make arrests. All 6 were arraigned today in federal court, 4 in Minnesota and 2 here in California federal court. The FBI says they are asking everyone to stay diligent in their towns and cities. ISIS means to do us harm, and their efforts to recruit U.S. citizens to do terrorist acts in the U.S. is alive and well. In news from China Lake, it's been announced that the NOCWD T range is in the final stages of adding a new capability. They report this new range will be functional in about 5 months. The T stands for thermal dynamics. It is a high-pressure, hot gas blowdown to atmosphere facility that can replicate Mach 4 at sea level. It will be used to conduct research into air-breathing engines, rocket motor subsystems, and liquid rocket engines. It will also support full-scale tactical missile rocket-to-air breathing engine transition testing, where large ejections may be required. They are poised to start testing in FY 2016. Some of the projects already scheduled are radome testing for the Evolved Sea Sparrow missile, looking to work with Naval Postgraduate School to investigate rotary detonation engines, to work with the Energetic Department and Harvey Mudd College to allow senior students to design water-cooled Mach 3 supersonic nozzles, and support the Coalition Warfare Partnership Program between the United States and Norway. Speculating on future work, they see the facility being used by joint service requirements. It is a new capability and work like this that shows how much the Navy and Department of Defense recognizes the need for more work here at China Lake. In news out of Inyokern, KZGN reported about 2 months ago that the Community Service District in Inyokern had voted to dissolve. They did not have the funds necessary to continue to provide the services they provide now. They provide sewer lines, sewer treatment, and street lighting. They then contacted Kern County, the local agency formation committee, to find out how to dissolve. It was pointed out that they had never had one totally dissolve. The assets and services must continue. The usual way a district would dissolve would be to annex with some other district. Last week they voted to annex into the Indian Wells Valley Water District. IWV district manager presented the proposal to the board last week. While the board took no position at this time, they did tell the manager to continue to see what can be done. The manager did already learn that there was some potential financial help available from Visalia for financial assistance to small districts. That assistance would help defray the cost of our assessment. The Water District still sees certain problems with the proposal. The problem is that they are not set up to provide the same services the CSD provides. They only provide water. So further investigation has to be done before moving forward. In news from the Lemoore Naval Air Station, the F-35C jet fighter made its first appearance at the Navy's West Coast Air Base last Tuesday, providing an up-close look at the nation's newest generation of jet fighter. Lemoore will be the home base for 100 of the jet fighters, with the first to arrive in January 2017. With estimated acquisition costs of nearly $400 billion, the F-35 is the Pentagon's most expensive and ambitious acquisition program, according to the General Accounting Office, the investigative arm of the Congress. The program has experienced significant cost, schedule, and performance problems, and the plane continues to have engine and software problems as it undergoes testing. However, the Navy is committed to making the new plane its workhorse of the future. All associated program people believe that all remaining problems are not major and will be solved in the near future. This plane will eventually be deployed to all Navy aircraft carriers. The Navy will build a hangar to accommodate the new aircraft, modify existing hangars, and make other improvements. Lockheed Martin, manufacturer of the $129 million Navy version of the Joint Strike Fighter, set up a F-35C portable flight demonstrator at the base that some got to try out. It is estimated the full phase-in period will take about 15 years. However, even though this plane is finally going online, the F-A-18 Super Hornet, which has many based at China Lake, will continue in the inventory for at least 15 years. And China Lake has already been provided a couple F-35s for testing as well. So while there won't be a flight wing based here of the F-35, they will continue to do lots of testing here at China Lake. In Navy news, scientists have rediscovered a mostly intact World War II aircraft carrier used in an atomic bomb test and then sunk at a secret location off the northern California coast decades ago. The Navy towed the USS Independence out to sea in 1951 and scuttled it out of concern the damaged ship would sink near San Francisco. The military branch kept the site of the ship's sinking secret until now. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration located and recorded video of the USS Independence as part of a mission to map an estimated 300 historic shipwrecks in the waters outside San Francisco's Golden Gate Bridge. Images captured by a remotely controlled miniature submarine show the Independence sitting upright about 30 miles off the coast near the Farallon Islands. A plane is visible in the hangar. The Independence operated in the Pacific during the war and served as a target ship for 2 Bikini Atoll atomic bomb tests in 1946. This ship fought a long, hard war in the Pacific, and after the war was subjected to 2 atomic blasts that ripped through the ship. NOAA scientist James Delgado said, despite the damage incurred, the Independence continued to float. The Navy used the ship to study nuclear decontamination while it was moored in San Francisco. The contamination poses little danger to the public health because of the ship's isolation 2,600 feet underwater and 30 miles from the coast. Scientists say neither the submarine nor tools used to examine the ship showed any signs of increased radiation. In Cerro Costa news, students Nicholas Elder, Beverly Wood, and Hannah Small were recently showcased at the Honors Transfer Council in California Research Conference. Recently, Cerro Costa Community College was strongly represented at the annual HTCC Student Research Conference. The multidisciplinary conference was at the University of Irvine and is sponsored by UCI and the HTTC. It showcases outstanding faculty-mentored research by students from California Community College with a focus on college students. 3 Cerro Costa students presented their research at this year's conference. Honor student Hannah Small's presentation work on the non-biological roots of races and their elimination of forensic anthropology. Her work suggests that the use of ancestry in identifications as opposed to race would allow forensic anthropologists to more accurately and scientifically identify human remains. Hannah was mentored on the project by anthropology professor Dr. Sarah King. Beverly Wood was mentored by English professor Cliff Davis. She presented a literary work titled Less Than Kind, More Than Kind, Hamlet and Iago. Her work proposes the protagonist of Hamlet has essentially the same intellect and in the same effect and same character as Iago, the antagonist of Othello. Beverly states that the similarities between the two include manipulation techniques that Hamlet and Iago both use. She found their clever creation of alter egos, their scurrilous treatment of women, and even their personal self-doubts and insecurities are only the difference of circumstances rather than of morality. Beverly is also an honors program student and will be graduating from the college this May. Nicholas Elder's literary presentation explained and analyzed the sources and inspiration of the multiple cosmological elements in John Milton's Christian epic poem Paradise Lost. Mentored by English professor Cliff Davis, Nicholas' ultimate research goal was to facilitate understanding of shape, size, distance, orientation, and function of many of the elements in Milton's complex cosmology. Presenting their work at the HTCC Student Research Conference make these Cerro Costa students eligible not only for monetary awards, but also submit their work for publication in the HTCC Anthropology Building Bridges, published through the University of California, Irvine. Now, in KZGN's continuous effort to provide news and information you've asked for, here are today's local gas prices for your information. As of this morning, Ridgecrest is ranging from $2.99 to $3.29, plus one station sitting at $3.69. Lancaster is going from $2.95 to $3.39. The LA Valley area is going from $2.93 to $3.19. In the Bishop area is $3.23 to $3.39. We have 5 stations coming in at the $2.99 figure. Last week, we only had 2 stations at $2.99. It now appears some surrounding area prices are getting slightly better than here. Let's hope that equal pricing continues. We will be providing these prices 3 times a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Of course, we at KZGN always suggest you fill up here to support our local economy. Remember, when you pay any sales tax out of town, you are helping those cities pave their streets instead of here. Stay tuned for weather and sports after this break. Thanks for staying with us. Let's go to Keith for the weather.
Thank you, Tom. Looking at our regional map, all the rain that we really needed is mostly sitting out in the east. From what we are seeing, we got spring, summer-like conditions across the nation. For us locally, the National Weather Service has posted the following announcement this afternoon. Tuesday, thunderstorms are expected to develop in the afternoon on Tuesday and continue into the evening. Affected locations include Mojave, Rosemont, China Lake, California City, Edwards Air Force Base, Randsburg. Advisory for small hail, dangerous lightning, heavy rain, and gusty winds, and minor street flooding are possible. And now for our local forecast in the IWV. Tonight will be mostly clear with a low around 54. South-southwest wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tuesday will be mostly sunny with a high near 82, light and variable wind between 5 to 10 miles per hour, and the clouds start moving in. Tuesday night, 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms are possible before 11 p.m. Partly cloudy with a low around 52, west wind 10 to 15 miles per hour. Winds can get as high as 20. And on Wednesday, a 20% chance of showers after 11 a.m. Mostly sunny with a high near 79, west-northwest wind around 5 miles per hour. Wednesday night, continuing 20% chance of showers, mostly cloudy with a low around 52, west-southwest wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. Thursday, a 30% chance of showers, partly sunny with a high near 76, northwest wind 5 miles per hour. Thursday night, a 20% chance of showers, mostly cloudy with a low around 52, west-southwest wind 10 to 15 miles per hour. Friday, 20% chance of showers, mostly sunny with a high near 77, calm wind becoming south-southeast 5 miles per hour. And that is your forecast for the IWV for Monday, April 20th, 2015. And now back to Tom.
Thank you, Keith. Now let's go to Tom Heck for the sports.
And a very pleasant Monday afternoon to everybody. Start with a local sports note. Saracoso baseball. The Coyotes traveled down to Whittier on Saturday. They dropped a 7-2 game to Rio Hondo College. Rio Hondo right now tied for first place with San Bernardino Valley with only 1 week left of baseball. And wouldn't you know, those teams play each other 3 times this upcoming week. Meanwhile, the Coyotes, they'll take on Victor Valley College Tuesday and Friday here in Ridgecrest. Then they will take on Victor Valley away on Thursday. Burroughs softball will be at home on Thursday. Burroughs baseball will be at home on Tuesday. Burroughs baseball right now 2-0 in league play. They're currently 13-4 overall. John Bradley doing a very good job with that program. All right, NBA playoffs here already, started this weekend. Atlanta, the number 1 team from the East, defeats Brooklyn. No surprise there. Cleveland beats Boston in Cleveland, 113-100. It was Houston beating Dallas, 118-108, that game in Houston. Chicago a winner over Milwaukee. Golden State hangs on to beat New Orleans, 106-99. Now that's Golden State number 1 from the West against number 8, New Orleans. Now, New Orleans was a team that beat San Antonio the last game of the season. And speaking of San Antonio, who had won 11 straight before losing that game to New Orleans, dropped from number 2 to number 6. That's how tight the standings were. And what that did, it had a fallout. It put them first round with the Clippers, and last night they played in Los Angeles with the Clippers winning that game. Now, Game 2 will be at Staples Center in Los Angeles on Wednesday against the defending champions. All right, also in the NBA yesterday, Washington beat Toronto 93-86 in overtime. Now, Portland, the team that I thought would maybe win this whole thing at one time, lost the first round game at Memphis last night. And as mentioned, San Antonio, the defending champion, loses to the Clippers. Clippers are playing really well right now. They're healthy. Boy, they could go deep into the playoffs, if not win the whole thing. I'll just predict this. The winner of the NBA will come from the West, whoever it might be, and it could be one of about 5 teams. The East, the only team I think in the East that could get hot and do some damage is Cleveland. I don't see Atlanta. They're not playing that well right now, winning the whole thing. But I'm usually wrong, so we'll have to wait and see. That's the fun of the NBA playoffs. You never know what's going to happen. All right, tonight it'll be the Bucks and the Bulls in Chicago. The Pelicans will be at Golden State Game 2. Steve Kerr deserves Coach of the Year, the Golden State coach. Best record in the NBA this past year. All right, baseball real quick. The Dodgers sweep Colorado. They're playing well. They win at Chavez Ravine yesterday 9-3. They won Sunday's game by a score of 7-0. Now, the Angels, they lost 2 of 3 to Houston. They lost the game on Sunday 4-2. They lost 4-0. They were shut out on Saturday. Now the Angels open up a series tonight against Oakland. Now the only team that is playing .500 baseball so far in the West, and it's early, 12 games in the books, are the Astros. They're 6-6. Everybody else in the West is below .500. The A's have a completely new team. We'll see what happens. The Yanks, the Orioles, the Royals, Arizona, San Diego Twins, Pittsburgh, and Washington all won yesterday in Major League Baseball. All right. Baltimore and Boston, those teams playing very well this year. It was Baltimore winning 7-5 yesterday. Now, Baltimore and Boston have the best record in the Eastern Division. The best record in baseball right now, the Detroit Tigers at 10-2. They're leading the Central. The Mets, the New York Mets, are leading the East in the National with a 10-3 record. So some pretty good starts for a lot of people this year, including the Kansas City Royals. Royals have only lost 3 games. They're 9-3. They had 3 bench-clearing episodes yesterday in Kansas City for that A's-Royals game. So it's been very interesting so far. A lot of parity in the Major League Baseball. Should be an interesting season. We're very early in the year. All right, track at home this week on Wednesday. More about that tomorrow. That's your sports for this Monday afternoon. I'm Tom Heck for KZGN.
So that's the news for today. All of us at KZGN-TV know you have a choice in what you watch for news. We all thank you for choosing KZGN-TV, Ridgecrest's only locally owned community TV station.